Now it did. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for popping on our live and checking us out. If you're catching the replay, please click replay in the comments. We'd love to hear that you're catching it on replay. If you're on live, drop in the comments where you're watching from tonight. I want to hear from you guys. Okay, so tonight we're going to share a little bit about our Thrive experience, what we noticed in like the first 10 days. Can you really notice that much in 10 days? You can. You can. Guys, if you've ever started like, and I'm not going to get, medical here, but if you've ever started like a new prescription or a new, skincare line or a new anything, right? You're really not, if you're, being honest with yourself, not going to expect like your freaking skirt to blow up on that, 10 days in or 5 days in or first day. And we actually set our friends up to experience this product for 10 days before they notice anything at all. But I'm going to tell you guys, you're going to hear tonight that, we set you up to notice on day 10, but a lot of us notice way before that. So what are we talking about over here? We're talking about the Thrive experience, 3 simple steps that have literally changed how we're sleeping, waking up, and feeling during the day. So what we are taking right away in the morning are 2 capsules. We put these by our bed before we go to sleep. We're taking these before our feet hit the floor with a tall glass of water. And that's our step 1. Right away in the morning. 20 to 30 minutes later, we're drinking our lifestyle mix, which is super creamy, super yummy. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I was a little scared of this. It wasn't my Coca-Cola on ice that I normally started my day with. And I was like, ooh, but guys, this is so good. So creamy, so yummy. A couple of things that I did right away in the beginning of my Thrive experience was I used a straw, 13 swallows. I remember it took me 13 swallows. I just counted in my head 1, 2, 3 until I got to 13. Because it wasn't, like I said, my Coca-Cola, it wasn't my normal routine. And I was stuck in my head like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be awful. It's not awful. Trust the process. 20 to 30 minutes later. Some people put this on their counter and let it sit for the 15 to 20 minutes and kind of break up and get really super creamy. So delicious. And then we put on our DFT, our Dermafusion technology. Oh, you can see it through my shirt. Foam sticker that sits on your skin for 24 hours. And these 3 steps, you're getting inside gut health, you're getting outside bypass the gut, into your bloodstream health, all kinds of health benefits, right? For me, guys, when I took this product on day 1, I didn't notice a dang thing. Not a dang thing. I took the product, went about my day, but my husband will tell you that first day when he came home from work, I wasn't on my customary spot on the couch. I don't remember that at all. He does. So apparently this was doing something, but I was in denial. All right. So I'm passing this off to hear from my friends on what they noticed on day 1.
Okay. So for me, hello, everyone. Day 1, I actually noticed a lot, and I kind of, I hesitate sharing so much because to set realistic expectations, but I took my capsules at bedside, woke up, took them. By the time I got in the shower, everything seemed brighter. It just was, I was looking around. I thought my husband had changed the light bulbs while I was gone because everything seemed brighter. I literally could feel the fog lifting off of my brain, and it was so bright. It was, but I didn't really give Thrive credit for that because I was skeptical. I just was like, oh, I'm waking up. It's good, whatever. And also day 1, I definitely noticed an all day pep in my step. I wouldn't say like crazy energy where I was like, woo, whatever, but I noticed like Melissa said, got home, wasn't sitting in that, like, okay, I'm home, whatever. It was just much more like, hey, I still feel good. I felt good at work on a Monday, all those kinds of things. So that was my day 1, and it was awesome.
Okay, so I was actually also a day 1 thriver. And again, sometimes we hesitate to talk about how amazing we felt on day 1 just because not everybody does, right? And we honestly try to be realistic with it. Some people notice on day 1, some people notice on day 5, some people, longer than that. And that's totally fine. We all put our bodies through different things. And so it takes a different amount of time, for people to really start feeling the benefits. But for me, I got some stuff done during the day. It didn't really occur to me actually until at night. I just felt like I was going about my day, no big deal. But then I noticed I didn't fall asleep on the couch after I put the kids to bed. And that was like a daily occurrence. I was exhausted every day. And so I'd get the kids to bed, and Dustin and I would sit on the couch and watch a show, and I'd be out. I mean, I'd get maybe 5 minutes in and I would be out on the couch. Also, when I did go to bed that night, I had half a can of Coke Zero left on my counter that I had opened that morning. Melissa drank Coca-Cola on ice. I was a Coke Zero drinker. I would drink 1 or 2 of those puppies a day. And I didn't know, or I didn't listen, I don't remember, but I didn't know I wasn't supposed to have caffeine. So I actually opened a can of Coke Zero about 10 o'clock the day I started. I drank half of it and I never finished it. So that was one thing that stuck out to me, is when I went to bed that night, I dumped that Coke Zero down the sink, and just haven't had another one since. So those 2 things are what I noticed on day 1, and we're gonna move on to day 3.
All right, I love that. So a quick, Tiffany brought up her 1 to 2 Coke Zeros a day. Guys, I attribute me not noticing too much in the first few days, because when I started my Thrive experience, I was drinking like 6 to 7 cans of Coca-Cola a freaking day. No joke. I don't know how my body handled all of that sugar and all of that caffeine, but I was addicted to caffeine. And when you start your Thrive experience, they tell you to kind of stay away from the caffeine. And you're like, for me personally, I think I might have had a panic attack. I'm like, are you serious? Someone's going to die if I don't have soda. Like, seriously, this keeps me together. So, over those first few days, I was weaning myself off. I was, anxious for the withdrawals and all the things. And I was so pleasantly surprised that Thrive really supported me over those first like 3 to 5 days. So my first day, my second day, and my third day were a lot the same. I woke up, I took my Thrive. I didn't really notice too much. I did notice that I might have had a little pep in my step, but seriously, guys, by day 3, my husband's life had changed, because his wife was coming home. She wasn't super crabby, and she wasn't like beelining straight to the couch. Like Tiffany said, you do the bare freaking minimum and you beeline to the couch, and nobody better talk to you, right? That was my life, guys. And so those first few days for me was really just getting into the habit of it, drinking more water, getting my body hydrated, and coming off the soda. So the first 3 days, I'm one of those ones that am super jealous of day 1 Thrivers. I didn't notice a whole hell of a lot the first 3 days. Lanny?
So for me on day 3, what I noticed is my appetite. I always have struggled with that, with mindless eating is what I would call it. And by day 3, I was definitely noticing that I was like ordering lunch. I'm actually craving like a salad or a light option versus like the burger or something like that. And that definitely got my like ears perked up, because I was like, I really, really like this. My appetite just felt in check. And that was definitely around the day 3 mark that I was loving that piece. So pass it off to Tiffany.
Okay, so day 3 was another good day for me. When I talk about my story, I remember feeling happy. Like, I'm driving on my way to work and I'm smiling at people, right? If you are somebody that is, I don't even want to say rush hour traffic, but the morning traffic or the afternoon traffic, it's pretty heavy, right? And people look miserable in the mornings. People are slamming their coffees and just looking like they just got out of bed, right? I can remember feeling happy and like having a little dance party in my car. And that was so unlike me, because I was the person that snoozed 5 or 6 times every morning. I dreaded getting out of bed, raced around the house, getting everybody ready to get out the door. I was crabby as can be. And all of a sudden, like on day 3, I noticed I am happy. We're getting up earlier. Everything is running smoothly in the morning. The kids are getting ready easier, and I'm happy on my way to work, which, I was never really excited to go to work. So that was really strange for me. Day 3 is also the first day that I slept through the night, something I hadn't done in more than 12 years since I first became a mom. And this is going to talk about day 4 a little bit, but I can remember waking up on day 4 and going, what was that? Like, I didn't even know I could sleep that good. It was amazing. And to this day, how many years later, the quality of sleep I get is still literally one of my favorite benefits. But it was, that night of day 3 is when I first noticed that, and continue to love that. Passing it on to Melissa.
I love that so much. So we're gonna fast forward to day 10, right? Because we said the first 10 days of your Thrive experience will have you feeling what Thrive can do for you. Guys, I'm a day 5 Thriver. So you've heard from Tiffany, you've heard from Lanny. They were like day 1, they started noticing some things. For me, day 1, my husband started noticing some things. For me, guys, I woke up on day 5 of my Thrive experience, just like Tiffany on day like 3, 4. Like, I woke up, I did not hit the snooze button. I woke up freaking happy, like in a good mood. Now, a lot of my friends know me now and they're like, oh my God, you are this obnoxious morning person. You're always so happy. You guys, that was not the case. Melissa pre-Thrive. She was crabby. She was sleeping until the last second, or trying to sleep till the last second. She was rushing her kids out the door, screaming at everybody. It was a school bus driver. My poor kids were scared of me. It was awful. And it went all day and into the night. My husband was afraid to touch me at the end of the day. It was just blah. Day 5, I woke up freaking happy, on fire. I had a really good night's sleep that night. I woke up ready to go. I was singing good morning songs. I invented a good morning song for my poor boys. Oh my gosh. My oldest son is going to be a senior this year, and he is mortified by the good morning song. So I was bouncing down the stairs singing that. I was, going out to my bus route. I was, making stronger connections with my kids on like they could see it on my face. Like, Mrs. Topper is feeling good. Like, I don't know what she did this morning, but wow. So really day 5 for me, that happy part kicked in, that happy energy, guys, that for me has been completely life-changing. You can take all the other things away, although I love all the things, but the happy energy just makes me feel like I am a better person in this world. And that when I go to bed at night just makes me feel so happy. All right, Lanny.
Oh, I love that so much. So for me, day 10 was what I had been waiting for, is the sleep. Everyone was talking about it. They were sleeping great. And I was just like, I'm still waking up, banging on my snooze button, crabby, just like, oh, like starting the morning off terrible, because I was still like, I was feeling great once I had the Thrive in my body, but I wasn't having that where I'm like, oh, it's time to wake up and get up and everything. And around day 10 is when I noticed that I woke up before my alarm clock. I wasn't like cursing in my brain because that had happened. I was like physically ready to get up, to the point where it wasn't even lay there. It was take my capsules, take my sheets off, and get out of my bed. And I was like, woo, this is awesome, because that is something I had always slept through the night, but I always still woke up exhausted, counting the hours in my head to when I could go back to sleep. So when that started happening, I'm like, okay, one more thing that's happening with my continuous use. And I was absolutely celebrating. Not going to lie, absolutely every single person in my household was also celebrating, because when mom gets up late, not late, but just with not enough time for literally everything has to go right, or the wheels on the bus are going to fall off. So that was a huge thing. And my husband was very, very happy, because he's always been a morning person, and he didn't have to like tiptoe around me. And now most days I'm up before him still, years later. Love it. The sun rises and all those things. So Tiffany, take it away.
Oh my gosh, sometimes I forget to talk about the sunrises that I missed out on for so many years of my life. That's a great point, Lanny. I love being a morning person now, and that just was never the case before. So I know there's some of you watching going, I don't know what kind of crack they're on, but there's no way I'm getting up that early in the morning to see the sunrise. I get it. I was there too, but so thankful for being able to see so many sunrises now, and to be able to appreciate it. That's the other thing. Maybe if I saw a sunrise before, it was like, why am I up so early? This is awful. and now I appreciate it. So that's a good point. I want to go back to Melissa too. and talk about that good morning song that you created, I feel like you need to make a reel about that because we all want to hear what that good morning song is. So, back to my day 10. I will say day 10 for me. And so you guys, we kind of pick these days because that's when a lot of people start noticing things. So you'll hear people talk about their Thrive experience, day 1, day 3, day 10. They're not all exact numbers, like you heard Melissa say, she didn't really notice anything till day 5, right? But a lot of times it is day 1, it is day 3, it is day 10 or day 14 or whatever it is. So we don't make these numbers up. It's just kind of when things start to happen for people. And again, there are people that take a little bit longer, and that's totally fine. But like Lanny, when whether it's day 10 or day 20 or whatever it is, when you get that benefit that you've been waiting for, you're just going to be like, oh, this is it. This is what these crazy thriving people have been talking about. But for me, day 10, so productive. I just like cleaning and organizing. And you can ask my husband, we had a counter at our old house, the kitchen counter. It was never even used as like a place to eat, or it was cluttered with papers everywhere. It used to drive him crazy. And I remember one day just like, I've had enough of this. We're going through this all and cleaning it all up. And I'm organizing things and cleaning out the kids' closets and getting rid of old clothes and things that honestly should have been done months or even years before. But I just never had the energy for it, never had the motivation to do it. And it was just like, all right, let's go. I think it was a Saturday, to be honest. And it was just like, we were spending all day getting this all done. Probably drove my kids crazy because they're not used to like an all day event like that. But the feeling of accomplishment when that was over, it was just like, wow, that was awesome. And, has obviously continued on as the years have gone on, but that was a big thing for me. So, I feel like maybe we should talk about beyond day 10. Like, what are some things that maybe we didn't notice right away, but we're, still loving now? Melissa, do you want to touch on that at all?
Would love to. I always, when I'm sharing my Thrive experience and what I'm loving, afterwards, I always think about literally today. So guys, before I started my Thrive experience, I was sick all the time. Literally, I was a school bus driver. I had small children. I had everything. I had colds. I had flus, like every little thing that was floating around, I got. And life keeps happening, right? I'm probably right now in one of the most stressful seasons of my adult life. And I keep thinking, thank God that I am sleeping as well as I'm sleeping. And thank God that my immune system is as strong as it is, because knock on wood, I still knock on wood because I'm still superstitious. I'm not catching any of the crap that's going around. And you might have a little sniffle here or there, but it literally is gone as fast as it comes on. And I am just so freaking thankful that I can sleep as well as I am and that my immune system is as strong as it is, because I can't even imagine going through the things that we have to go through as adults feeling the way I felt before, because it would just make it a million times worse than it already is. And just the fact that I feel so great in my skin and I can just, keep every day is not magic, right? Like, every day is not sunshine and rainbows, but it's a hell of a lot better when you're thriving. So guys, if you have not started your Thrive experience, you really need to. The first 4 weeks are going to change your life, and beyond is going to change everybody's life around you. So Lanny, tell me what you're loving still.
I love that I still feel all the things that we've discussed. Years later, you guys, I still wake up, take those 3 steps and feel all these benefits. And yeah, way more healthy, all the things. But the one thing that I have to absolutely talk about is the digestive support. Pre-Thrive, I had a messed up digestive system. Let's say that. Like nothing what they could find was wrong with me, but it just wasn't working. It was way too fast, lots of embarrassing moments, all kinds of things. And it was probably about 3 weeks in when I noticed, we were out to dinner, and I was like, I had the ultimate like light bulb moment. I wouldn't even have been surprised if there was a great big light bulb over my head, because I was like, you guys, to my family, I am not complaining about like, look, we have to get out of here. It's time to go. We got to go. We're going to have to stop. Like, I mean, if you have a fast digestive system, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know where all the restrooms are and all the counties around you, because chances are you probably have had to stop there. So that's when I noticed that like I wasn't complaining about it. I wasn't worrying. And I was still a little bit like hesitant on what I was eating and things like that, but I kept testing it. And again, years later, you guys, I don't even think about it. There are times when I'm like, before I used to get on a plane, I would have almost like I would put myself in a like this panic state, because I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get in this enclosed space. And what if something happens and all this kind of stuff. I rarely ever think about any of those kinds of things, because I eat, drink, do what I want when I want, all that kind of stuff. And my digestion is not that way anymore. So, I mean, I love every single thing that we have talked about tonight, but that is the one thing that I would pay double, triple, whatever I had to pay to make sure I had it in my system. So, I mean, when I say life changing, I mean life changing for my family, for me, for not everyone having to hear me complain about it. That, I mean, I could do a whole live about really embarrassing, funny stories, but we won't go there. So that's my one thing that to this day, I love all the things, but that is the one thing, like it's gold for me.
Okay, well, I didn't know you were going to have to pick one thing. I have more than one thing, but I am also going to talk about digestion. My digestion was actually the opposite of Lanny's. I would go once, maybe twice a week, and it was it was a very embarrassing ordeal as well. Just a little bit different than Lanny's. So I tell people, like, if you have gut health issues, you know, whether your digestion is too fast or too slow, Thrive regulates it. Thrive can help, you know, get everything running the way it's supposed to in your digestive tract. And game changer for me too. Just again, completely opposite of the way it changed Lanny's, you know, life with that. So digestion is key. And that was actually probably about 2 weeks in for me. You know, it was early on, and you know, something that I was just like, okay, I'm going to be a thriver for life. If I am going to go to the bathroom every day, this is it. This is just a game changer. So digestion is definitely a big one for me. I'm going to talk about leg cramps here. It's something that I didn't notice for months. I don't even really know when it happened, but I used to get Charlie horses in the middle of the night. I would scare the bejesus out of Dustin. Yeah, I'd wake up in the middle of the night with a Charlie horse, and I'd jump up out of bed really fast, because I mean, if you've had them, you know how awful they are. And I'd have to walk around the house and try to walk them out, and they were awful. And months and months and months into my thriving, it could have even been after the first year, I don't even know. But there was one night we were laying in bed, and I looked at Dustin and I said, I don't get leg cramps anymore. Like, when's the last time I had a leg cramp? I couldn't even remember. And don't even ask me what in Thrive helps with that. I have no idea. I think it's just, you know, when you're fueling your body with premium nutrition. So that was the second thing. And the third thing I thought of that still to this day blows my mind is that I don't have road rage anymore. You guys, it used to be terrible. I would get so mad at all the other terrible drivers on the road, cursing, probably, you know, whipping some sort of hand signal that's not very nice. And I don't do that anymore. That's the patience. That's obviously, you know, where the patience comes in. Do I still get irritated? Of course, but I'm not like ready to ram my car into somebody anymore. So, I mean, I feel like that's pretty a safety issue that people should be appreciative of these days, that I don't have that strong urge, you know, to blast people for that. So for driving dumb, because of course it's not me driving dumb, right? So those are just a couple of things when we decided what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm just like, some of these things, like, you don't even really know when they happen. You just realize they're not happening anymore, and you're just so grateful for it. So, I mean, if I had more time to think of more things, I could definitely, you know, keep listing off, but those are the main ones that I had. So Before we wrap it up, do either of you two ladies have anything else?
I definitely want us to make shirts up that say Thrive saves lives. Like, I don't have anything to add, but I'm telling you, we need something. Thrive saves lives.
I agree. I have nothing else to add on that point.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. If you are currently thriving, we would love to hear what your favorite benefit is today. If you're not thriving yet and you have questions, you can drop them in the comments here, or you can reach out to one of us. We are literally here to answer your questions, help you get started if you want. We just kind of wanted to showcase how, if you have done a 1-day sample, a 3-day sample, even a 5-day sample, and, you really haven't noticed a whole lot, there's a good chance if you took it for a little bit longer, you would start to, feel some of these benefits that we talked about tonight. So get in touch with one of us. Our inboxes are always open. We're always happy to answer questions and, help people get started on their own stories. So thanks for joining us tonight, guys, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.